2017, over 500 miles on the Appalachian Trail. Today we're going to discuss my journey this year on the Appalachian Trail, and I'm kind of going to review the entire thing. You already know what's next, but let's go ahead and review my 2017 Appalachian Trail hike and compare it to some of my other hikes. Let's go.
This is Teardrop, and welcome to New to the Wild.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and broads, I'm Teardrop, and this is, the Legend of Teardrop, formerly New to the Wild. And today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss my 2017 through hike. We're going to kind of review it a little bit, and I'm just going to go over it. I'm exhausted. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I have to work 16 hours a day, 8 on YouTube, and then 8 at my actual job. Plus, I got to do my sports bet, so it's a, woo! Today is not going good, and I broke my damn coffee cup. Coffee's good, though. It's good, though. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, okay. I began my attempts in 2014, December, and this year was my most productive year in 2017, and we're going to go over it because it definitely had a different experience than previous years. Let me start off by saying this. I considered it a failure because I did not achieve my goal. I did not achieve the goal I set out for myself. However, I do not ever consider actually hiking a failure. It's not a failure. Now, for me personally, it is. But if someone else set out and they hiked 500 miles, I would never consider it a failure. So, in theory, it's not a failure. In logic, it's not a failure. But for me personally and the goals that I set out, it was a failure. I hope that makes sense. It should make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then you're a fucking idiot. But anyway, rolling on. One of the biggest things I noticed that was different this year than other years is I was kind of the veteran, so to speak, on the trail this year. I noticed immediately that I was kind of, and I hate to use the word celebrity, but that's the feeling I got this year. You know, immediately this year, almost everybody, that's at least half of the people that started at Springer or that I saw in the earlier days of the trail, because I started in the bubble, knew who I was, wanted to take a picture with me. They had respected the previous work that I did. They had asked me for advice consistently. They used me as kind of their trail wisdom because I had hiked Georgia 10 times. And so immediately I saw the notoriety I had on the trail. And sometimes, in some ways, that was a bad thing, but in some ways, that was a good thing. So that was my first actual thing that I noticed on the trail. Anyway, moving forward, we're going to get into the trail, and I'm just going to talk about each section kind of and what it meant for me. But my overall take on the Appalachian Trail in 2017 is this. I cannot stand hiking in the heat. And I know a lot of you have noticed that over the years, I typically do my hiking off season, and this is fucking why. You know, I didn't mind March, but anything beyond March was miserable. July was the absolute most miserable thing I've ever felt in my life. I don't understand how you people hike in the summer. I don't get it. I'm a little stuffed up right now, so I hope it's not affecting anything. All right, so section number 1, we're going to talk about section number 1. We got Springer to Neal's Gap. Now, immediately when I started the trail, I met Mammoth. Mammoth and his crew, and I love these guys. We actually, we did not hike as far as I would have liked to hike. We hiked to somewhere near Hiawassee together. But Mammoth was the first positive thing for me on the trail. He was a funny young dude. I'm not going to elaborate on some of the things we got into because that would be stupid. But anyways, Mammoth, who made it. By the way, Mammoth made it to Katahdin. I followed his whole journey. He's on my Facebook. So Mammoth, Ben, his name is Ben Van Houten, I believe. Ben, congratulations. But Mammoth, we all hung out at the Blood Mountain cabins. You guys saw the video of me and Mammoth on top of Blood Mountain. God, motherfucker. Um, you guys saw the video of me and Mammoth on Blood Mountain in the fog and all of this. Mammoth and that original trail family was an outstanding group of people. And I'm proud to say that Mammoth made it all the way. I don't know about the rest of the fellas, but I'm 100% sure that Mammoth made it all the way. Tractor did not, I do not believe, but Mammoth did. Mammoth, one of the best people I'd met on the trail ever. And I consider him a friend forever. And I wish him the best. I hope he continues and does another trail maybe next year. But the journey from Springer to Neals was its typical journey. I think we made it in 3 or 4 days. But instead of staying at Neals Gap, I stayed at the Blood Mountain cabins. Now, so here's my take on the Blood Mountain cabins. Well, first and foremost, let me tell you this. The hostel and suches that I used to work at and all this, they are now closed. They no longer exist anymore. I am working on attempting to buy a hostel in that area, and I hope to bring one back to suches, and I'll work on that. And then I heard that Josh sold the hiker hostel, and now they're charging upwards of $100 a night. I don't know if that's actually accurate or not, whether they're charging that much. So if you know the answer, put it in the comment section. But anyway, so Springer and Neals, great time, good people. And what we did is we took I think 2 zeros at Blood Mountain Cabins, and when you got 5, 6 people staying together, it wasn't that expensive. And boy, did we get fucked up. We went to the grocery store, and it looked like we bought a week's full of groceries. We ate good, we drank good, and damn it was great. The Blood Mountain Cabins, I'm telling you now, get them. Listen, and I don't mean any disrespect to Georgiana and Neals Gap, but they're not even close to competing with the Blood Mountain Cabins. Now, I understand if you like the nostalgia of Neals Gap, and I get it completely. And Neals Gap is a great place. I love going there. I love getting coffee. I love talking to them. I love hanging out there. But for me, I enjoy luxury and I enjoy drinking. Now, the one thing I'll say about Neals Gap is their owners are they're young and they're great, and they're liable to pop up at 3 in the morning after going to the bar, and they're great people, man. I have nothing negative to say about Neals Gap. I know I've talked negative about him in the past, but I don't have anything negative to say. I met the owner of Neals Gap, and he's a good. The young dude's a good dude. Georgia is a good chick. All due respect, Neals Gap is solid, but my preference is the Blood Mountain Cabins. All right, so then the hike from Blood Mountain Cabins to Hiawassee was outstanding. It was another difficult terrain. We had a snowstorm on. This is where I met Kavy, and Kavy is who I hiked the rest of my hike with. Well, almost the rest of my hike, at least to Hot Springs. Kavy also became a good friend. Him and Iceberg and the dog, Dova. And what you saw in that is you saw that we had a storm hit us when we were on Trey Mountain, and Jesus Christ, was it bad. So going over Kelly's Knob, which to me, I want to make this very clear, Kelly's Knob actually may be the hardest mountain in Georgia. It's between Kelly's Knob and Sassafras. Blood Mountain's overrated. Trey Knob is overrated. So I'm going Kelly's Knob. But anyway, that little hike, that was a difficult stretch. And then, of course, I got to top of Georgia. That's my trail family, Bob, Carry On. I love top of Georgia. Me and them are very close. And which Bob was having a shit and dig. So I stayed for several days. I did some hiking in the area during that time. But I stayed for several days and hung out with Bob and helped out. And great guy, great hostel. I would always recommend top of Georgia. Always, I would recommend top of Georgia. I'm not a big fan of the Budget Inn in Hiawassee. I know Ron Haven hates when I say that, but I'm a much bigger fan of the Budget Inn in Franklin, which this year I actually found a place that I liked better. Anyway, so then from Hiawassee to Franklin, this is when I was officially with Kavy and Iceberg, and this was an outstanding. This was a great section as well. Now it was so funny because we stayed on top of Rock Gap before we went into Franklin, and And Albert Mountain was fun. Albert Mountain was exciting. Now the thing this year that was different is I did Albert Mountain at nighttime. So we're in Georgia. Well, we're in North Carolina now. We crossed over into North Carolina, which was fun because we made it fun. But Albert Mountain, we got to, and then going down Albert Mountain, it was nighttime, and that added an extra element of excitement to Albert Mountain, and that was no doubt about it. But of course, you guys know that view on top of Albert is exceptional, and this year was the same. So anyway, we get to Rock Gap. We stay on top of Rock. We get to Rock, that area where Rock Gap's at. So we stay on top of Rock Gap with the overlook over the city of Franklin. Anyway, we get up the next morning and I shoot down there because whenever I smell beer, I gotta ride. I gotta go. I gotta get there. So I shoot down to Rock Gap. We get out of there. We leave at Rock Gap, not Winding Stair Gap. Of course, we came back and hiked out Winding Stair. The trip in Franklin was excellent. We was on the bus to Franklin. It was funny because Ron Haven said, "Your teardrop." I said, "Yeah." So anyway, I went ahead and Ron Haven noticed me, of course. So I went to Haven's place. Haven treated me excellent. Haven's place treated me wonderfully, even though I could tell him and his guy was both angry at the previous reviews that I did. For you guys that do not know, me and Ron Haven went back and forth last year, 2 years ago. We went back and forth. Me and Ron, I don't think Ron likes me at all, and I understand he doesn't like me critiquing his business. But here's the thing. I'm trying to remember the name of the other hotel because we switched. We stayed one night at Ron Haven's, and then what we did is we went to, what was the other place called? The Sapphire. Man, the Sapphire was excellent. And then right across the street's this Mexican restaurant. Okay, Haven's not going to like this again, but I would recommend the Sapphire if you're going to stay anywhere. Now, Colin Gooder and Gooder Grove is a good option, but it's kind of far away. Well, I'm talking about these places where you have walking access to all these places in Franklin. Gooder Grove is a good place to go if you want to go have a beer and hang out with other hikers. No doubt about it. But I prefer the hotels there. I prefer the Sapphire Inn. That's what I'm going to recommend to all of you, the Sapphire. It's clean. It's nice. It smells good. It's a nice place. No question about it. So then when, leaving Franklin, we made our way towards, what was after Franklin? Shit. Oh, the NOC, man. Now, that little stint was excellent. Now, what was so fun about that is me, KV, and Iceberg, we packed out 25 double cheeseburgers. We packed out days. We didn't resupply actual food. We resupplied double cheeseburgers. So we did this as an experiment, and then snack cakes. And it worked beautifully. We then were dubbed #TeamBurger. And so it was a fun time. We ate good, and it was all great. And so then we get to the NOC. Now, we get to the NOC at nighttime, and this is where shit gets good because we're coming down into the NOC at nighttime. Now, everybody talks about the going up out of the NOC, which is a hell of a trip. But no one has, I don't know if anyone's ever, well, I'm sure they have, but going down the NOC, into the NOC at nighttime where you can't see shit, and it is very, very steep. You guys know how steep it is going up. Well, it's just steep coming down into it. There's ridge walking there and a lot of rocks, and we decided to be dumbasses and do it at night. So we get down to the NOC finally, and so then I'm sitting there with nothing but 20s, right? And the pop machine's there, and there's no way to get change. So I'm stressed the fuck out. I'm sitting there at the NOC like, I need change for this damn 20. Thank God there was another group of hikers that happened to be down there. Anyway, so at the NOC, we enjoyed ourselves. We ended up going to get cabins, but that night, there was nowhere for us to stay. So me, KV, and Iceberg, what we did was legal. We went behind the NOC where the water's at, and we just slept right there. We slept right there, and so I don't know, from what I heard that if the police in that area would have saw us, they would have caused us a problem. We meant no harm. We just had nowhere else to fucking sleep, and we couldn't keep walking, and everything else was closed. But anyway, so the next 2 days we stayed at these cabins that's in the NOC. We did not stay at the hostel, but these cabins were excellent. It was a little bit of a distance to walk and go get beer and then go back to the cabins. But we did it, and we did it well, and we enjoyed ourselves, no question, at the NOC cabins. Then we made the push over to Fontana, and Fontana was another excellent place. We stayed at the Hilton. Now, don't get me wrong. I've stayed at the Fontana Lodge, and I will always recommend it to all of you hikers. If you have enough money, go to the lodge. However, boy, did I get shit-faced at Fontana Dam. This is no bullshit. Fontana Dam, Fontana, I was sitting there at the general store, which they allowed us to drink right in front of the general store. And so I was just buying beer, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but those 12 packs are like $18 or some crazy shit. And I bought like 5 of them. So you can see how much I spent on beer. And then we took some back to Fontana, and I wasn't aware that you couldn't drink at Fontana. But anyway, so for the first time in years, I literally got sick. Me and KB decided to sleep outside, out on the rocks, so we can wake up and see Fontana, the water itself. Man, I remember I didn't eat anything. I didn't eat anything, and that had to have been a problem, because later on that night when I actually threw up, but all I could throw up was liquid. And that was a bad moment, but it was a fun night. We met a lot of good people, and it was definitely some good times. Now, the section between the NOC to Fontana was fantastic, of course. I want to mention this about after Franklin. Those balls are amazing. Siler bald, Wyatt bald, all them balls are the most amazing thing that you will see to this point of the trail. The balls after Franklin. And so from the 100-mile mark, from Albert Mountain on to Fontana, you will see some of the most amazing things that you've seen to this point on the trail. I appreciate it a lot more than Georgia, but now, don't get me wrong, I've hiked Georgia so many times. I may just be tired of Georgia, but I've also hiked that area a lot of times. So, just being honest, you'll find a lot. So, let's move on. We move on from Fontana, and we go into the Smokies. Now, this was a woo! Now, we started off by going to Gatlinburg. At Fontana, me and KB actually went to Gatlinburg. His chick came and saw him. So we went to Gatlinburg for a few days for the weekend before we even started the Smokies. And shit, of course, me and Gatlinburg, you know what's going to happen. So we did our thing. We spent some good money, and there's no doubt about it. By this point, I'd already spent, thousands, probably $1,500, $2,000 by this point. So moving forward, we come back from Gatlinburg after a hell of a weekend. We come back from Gatlinburg. We go to Fontana, and we shoot on up into the Smokies. Now, that first day, it was so hot, and I think I was so dehydrated from being drunk the night before. Me and KB struggled bad going up, and we ran out of water going into the Smokies. So that was we determined that the Smokies was trying to kill us, and I'm going to explain that a little bit more in a minute. Immediately, the heat started to get us. We were dehydrated. There was something wrong. Thank God for section hikers, because they actually were able to help us with water. Thank you so much. So what happened is we continued forward, and then what we got was a fucking thunderstorm around the Molly's Ridge area. Molly's Ridge area. So we got a thunderstorm. So for the next couple of days, it was thunderstorms. So then we get to Newfound Gap. We get to Gatlinburg. First of all, when we went up to Klingman's Dome, it was thunderstorming, raining sideways. The view was beautiful. That is the most amazing place going up Klingman's Dome, because that's where the trees start to change. The trees changing is a beautiful thing. But anyway, we get up to Klingman's Dome. It's storming. We can't get no damn video up there, and it's shit. Anyway, so then that's when Hike Hunter came and got us. Hike Hunter came and got us, and we went to his new cabin, which will be a hostel someday, over in Tennessee for a little bit. We hung out for a while. Had a great time with Hike Hunter. He treated us to all the meals that we had there. He treated us like a fucking king, and we appreciate Hike Hunter. So I was proud and happy to introduce KB to Hike Hunter, because Hike Hunter's been a friend of mine for years. We've hung out several times, and I appreciate it. In fact, Hike Hunter's coming this way today, and he should be on his way to meet Loner at his book signing. So Hike Hunter, I hope you see this, but have a good time, man, with Loner, and have a good time. Anyway, so Hike Hunter gets us. We enjoy ourselves, but then a winter storm hits right when he's dropping us back off at Newfound Gap. So Now we're inside of a winter storm. So by the time we get up to Ice Water Spring Shelter or whatever the fuck it's called, we're now sitting there with it storming. We got 8 inches of fucking snow hitting us. And you know what the motherfuckers do? They kick us out of the shelter because of day hikers. Here we are, through hikers with the through hiker permits, and they fucking kick us out. Oh, that pissed me the fuck off. Now I'm so against the damn the permit system in the Smokies. I don't know if I ever want to go back. Now I have to next year, obviously, but I think my new method of the Smokies is I'm just gonna buy 4 permits. I'm gonna buy 4 of the $4 permits at $16, and I'm just gonna do four shelters the entire time and get the fuck out of there. Anyway, so then we go from the Smokies to Hot Springs. Now, I do want to say this about after the Smokies. The last day in the Smokies, we did 17 miles, 18 miles to get out of Hot Springs. It was out of the Smokies. It was nighttime. So we did a Davenport drop in the middle of the dark, and it was intense. It was definitely intense. No question about it. Now, so we get to Standing Bear. Standing Bear is an excellent place. I am fond of Standing Bear. It's a little rough around the edges, but I really enjoyed myself at Standing Bear. Now, the negatives to Standing Bear is you got to hand wash your clothes. The negatives to Standing Bear is the internet kind of sucks. So there is some downs to Standing Bear, but the people that run Standing Bear are great. The lady that owns Standing Bear, great. The way they do their store on an honor system, great. People talked about and yes, they have some things that have expired, but their food. This is actually your largest food selection you'll have since you've been on a trail. And to me, I thought it was great. I did the extra $5 and stayed in the cabin instead of the fucking hostel. I enjoyed Standing Bear. I enjoyed it. So then we went to Hot Springs was next. Hot Springs. So in that mix between Standing Bear to Hot Springs, you got the legendary Max fucking Patch. Max Patch to this point is the most beautiful place on the Appalachian Trail by far. Now, I do think the Roan Highlands beats it, but Max Patch is an amazing place. So you get to Max Patch, you're excited, it's a beautiful place. I would recommend camping on the top of Max Patch, or actually me and KV, what we did is we went a little under Max Patch, a little further from Max Patch, and we got away from the crowd, but we had the same effect. You stay there, it's just beautiful, 360 views everywhere. It's a beautiful area. So then we went to Hot Springs. And this is where I ended up. Well, this isn't exactly where I got off, but we enjoyed ourselves in Hot Springs. Me and KV got another cabin. We did not stay at Laughing Heart. We did not stay at any of the hostels. I would recommend probably, no, I'm going to recommend the cabins, man. Because the cabins, if you got a vehicle or you got a way to get there, do the cabins. Because, man, it was me and KV stayed in an amazing cabin. His chick came back out and saw him. Drank well, we ate well. KV cooked a huge, beautiful steak. It was an excellent fucking time. We stayed there for 2 days. It was a weekend, of course. Anyway, so the highlight of that section going into Hot Springs, no doubt about it, is Max Patch. Hot Springs itself is a beautiful place. We went to that restaurant where you serve beer. We went there several times. I got shit-faced, as you know. I got a little bit too drunk on this trip. But anyway, so we leave Max Patch, or Hot Springs. We're on our way to Irwin. And we stop at Tangerine Gap or some shit like that. Anyway, we stop at the Gap about 6-7 miles past Hot Springs. KV gets sick, so we stay right there. This is where I left the first time. I left the Appalachian Trail this time. And I was gone for months. And then I came back months later and did the Hot Springs to Irwin, and I ended up getting rescued during that section for the first time ever. I want to say the Hot Springs to Irwin is the most boring section ever. There's no fucking views there. It sucks. Hot Springs to Irwin is literally the worst section on the Appalachian Trail. The most beautiful part of the whole thing is when you get to Irwin and you come down and you see the Nolichucky River. Other than that, that section sucks. So then we get there, we're at Uncle Johnny's, and it's a beautiful place. Uncle Johnny's, great dude. The dude that works there, I can't remember his fucking name, big guy with the goatee. Great place. Uncle Johnny's, I stayed there a couple days. Man, it is excellent. The town of Irwin is excellent. I really enjoyed my Irwin stay. So I would definitely recommend going to Uncle Johnny's. No doubt about it. Uncle Johnny's to me, okay, the hostel itself isn't the most elegant, but the cabins in the back look great. Johnny and his staff treat you like you're welcome. Man, Uncle Johnny's is definitely the place to be in Irwin. No doubt about it. It's not even a question. All right, so then from Irwin, we make the push towards Roan Mountain. That was a now the section begins to get when we get to the Highlands. Really is the only section in Tennessee that I found um, enjoyable. Which we'll talk about that. But in Roan Mountain, Tennessee, you'll stop at the Mountain Harbor there. There's also another little place that I would recommend to everybody. It's called the Greasy Creek Friendly. The Greasy Creek Friendly, and that old crazy cat lady that owns the place, she's an amazing person. Uh, when I first met her, she was a Jewish lady at Greasy Creek, and she had all these fucking rules, these kosher rules, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, so at first I thought she was crazy, and she still may be, but I wasn't fond of her. But she grows on you, man, and she's so friendly and it's so amazing. Greasy Creek Friendly is someplace I would definitely recommend. Make sure you stop at Greasy Creek Friendly and enjoy yourself, man. I love the lady and I love the place. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, so you get to Roan Mountain, Tennessee. Now, that section Irwin to Roan is not the most wonderful section. It's just really not. It's not. It's not. Now, once you get to Roan Mountain, Tennessee, now we're talking about you got the Roan Highlands coming up and everything's good. Mountain Harbor bed and breakfast. I do not recommend. It looks great. It looks beautiful. They got these $75 tree houses in the back. I would not recommend. By the way, during this period in Irwin is when I met Ironheart. Ironheart and I forgot what was the chick's name. I forgot. Angie. Ironheart and Angie. Great people. I enjoyed hiking with them. Ironheart's a friend forever. Make sure you guys go follow him on hearthike.org. He's hiking for a good cause, and I really liked hiking with Ironheart. He was a conservative, so we talked politics a lot. Angie was a liberal, so she got the fuck away. She didn't like what we were saying 99% of the time, but she was a cool person. Angie was a cool person. I'm not negative to say. She was a good person. She really was. We just disagreed a lot on politics. Anyway, so Mountain Harbor bed and breakfast. I'm not a fan. I didn't feel like they made us comfortable. The tree houses were way overpriced. We stayed in the treehouse cabins. Me and Ironheart did. The hostel, which is $50 cheaper than the tree houses, is much better. The people I met at that hostel was great. They have a great food truck at the Mountain Harbor Bed and Breakfast. I always would recommend the food truck at that place, no doubt about it. Anyway, we gotta speed this up, man. This is 27 minutes long. So at Mountain Harbor Bed and Breakfast, outstanding place, outstanding food that you can get there. The owners or the people that work there themselves do not make you feel welcome. I wouldn't recommend it. Now you go to Hampton. The Roan Highlands is one of the most amazing things on the planet. The minute you come up going north from Roan Mountain, you are in heaven. And you're in heaven for a while. I think it's like 4 miles of open ridge line. And it's just amazing. That is better than Hot Springs. I mean, better than Max Patch. To me, the Roan Highlands is better than Max Patch. Let me know your opinions in the comment section. Do you agree? Have you hiked the Highlands? Do you believe that the Roan Highlands are better than Max Patch? Let me know what your thoughts are. So, with all that being said, we get to Hampton. Boots Off Hostel, amazing. Jim and Boots Off Hostel is amazing. I am a fan of Boots Off. I wouldn't recommend going to Bob People's place. That place was horrible looking, disgusting. Now there's that bear place that's inside of Hampton. That may be good, but I personally would recommend Boots Off Hostel to all of you. I think Jim and his crew are doing a nice job there. Outstanding people, without a shadow of a doubt. Man, Jim's a really cool dude too. Unless there's paper missing out of his fucking notebook and then he kind of goes haywire, but Jim's a good dude. If you're watching this, great guy. They have these little cabins outside, and of course Ironheart got them. But anyway, from Hampton, we make our way to Damascus. Yeah, Damascus. And Damascus first of all, Damascus is overrated. Let me also say this. Those last 30 miles that you'll get right before Damascus is the easiest miles you will hike in your entire hike. Those 30 miles are literally the easiest and flattest miles I had seen the entire Appalachian Trail trip. It felt good to hit Virginia. It felt good to get to Damascus, no doubt about it. So now in Damascus, there's only 3 places to eat. I forgot the fucking names of the places, but there's not a whole lot. Damascus is very, very overrated in terms of a town. It's not actually that nice at all. Damascus itself isn't that exceptional. I can't imagine how. I will never go to trail days. A bunch of fucking hikers smashed into this little fucking town. Fuck that. Fuck that. Um, Now we get into Damascus. I stopped over by Crazy Larry's to get my box. To me, the best hostel in Damascus is the Woodchuck. The Woodchuck, I stayed there a few days. I really liked the owner of the Woodchuck. We talked politics, conservative guy. I appreciated that. Crazy Larry's kind of seems. There's 3 places that people go to. There's the Broken Fiddle, which I guess is where all the dope fiends and partiers hang. Crazy Larry's, which is where most people stay, but Crazy Larry's was overly expensive. Um, but the Woodchuck was the actual place where everything was elegant and clean and beautiful and nice, and the owner took care of his shit. And so I would recommend the Woodchuck in Damascus to all of you. Now we move on into the last section, Damascus to Marion, and what you get here is you get the Virginia Highlands. And goddamn, it did not it did disappoint me actually. When you get up to the Highlands and you don't see many ponies. There was a few, but I didn't see many. The Highlands themselves, the Virginia Highlands are the rockiest shit you will meet up to this point. So you people that think the Virginia Highlands is easy, oh, no. Rocks are everywhere. It's not Pennsylvania rocky, but the Highlands are rocky as shit, at least for a good portion of them. Now, you get to the area where the ponies are. First of all, we haven't even talked about the cows that was everywhere, I think, the night before. You walk through this cow patch on your way to the Highlands, and Jesus Christ, if you sleep in that area, the cows are fucking everywhere. You're stepping in cow shit, and then they roam. I woke up with a cow outside of my tent. I'm not lying. I got the picture. It's there. Anyway, so then you get to you get to the Highlands. And there's not a whole lot. There's not a lot of horses. There's not a lot of ponies. Now, I didn't see a lot during the day. I saw 1 or 2 or 3. But what we did is we stayed at the shelter, the only shelter that is inside of the Virginia Highlands State Park or whatever it's called. Now, that is when things got good. Because those little motherfuckers, those little ponies, they came at nighttime. We heard something outside of the shelter and was like, whoa, what the fuck is that? So we went and it was the ponies. Now, I saw one of the coolest things I've ever seen. You ever seen when a dog rolls around in the grass? The fucking ponies do it. And this was in the middle of the night. So I'm sitting there. Oh my God. It was an amazing, amazing time. No doubt about it. I'll never forget it. Okay. So then you start making your way to Marion. You get the partnership shelter. Partnership shelter is first of all, now when I left Damascus, I took the Creeper Trail. The Creeper Trail was excellent. It was a nice trail. Now next time I'm going to take the regular way, but the Creeper Trail was definitely a nice trail. I would recommend the Creeper Trail to anyone. The Creeper Trail I think is a better option than the AT in that moment. But hey, it's up to you. You do what you choose to do. Now, a partnership shelter is an amazing shelter. Now, let me make this clear about partnership shelter. Pizza Hut does not deliver to partnership shelter. You have to You have to call the place called Pizza Plus. Pizza Plus is the place that will deliver. I love the town of Marion. The town of Marion was excellent. Now, let me roll this back a little bit. The town of Troutdale is non-existent. Yes, there's a church there that has a hostel, a free hostel, or a donation-based hostel, and it's nice, but you got to walk several miles into that place, and it's a dead town. Do not go into Troutdale at all. Do not do it. Go to Atkins or whatever the fuck. Anyway, so in Marion, I liked Marion. The hotels in Marion was nice. It was decent. It was good enough. I enjoyed the Mexican place in Marion. You have a lot of fast food, a lot of restaurants, a lot of resupply places. You got the Greyhound, and that's where I left. You got the Walmart. Man, Marion was an excellent place, and that's where I left off. And so, all in all, my Appalachian Trail 2017 hike was very, very beneficial. It gave me a lot of experience. So now when I go back, I think I got it, man. And I know you've heard me say that a lot. Oh, something I learned in this trip, I'm not packing. I mean, I have boxes that I have packed, but do not depend on resupply boxes because you get tired of the shit. That is a fact. You know, I wanted to buy Subways and McDonald's, and you do get tired of the shit. You do. No doubt about it. So with all that being said, I think that's it. 2018 is going to be my year. 2017 was my favorite year on the trail, no doubt about it. I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more experience. And I'm confident that going into 2018, I'll probably have more experience than the majority of the hikers that's going to be out there. So I will be willing to help the rest of them. But this year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink less, a lot less. I'm going to spend a lot less money. I spent fucking $2,500 by Hot Springs, man. That's that. You can't spend $2,500 by Hot Springs and think you're gonna make it. Even though money's not the reason I got off the trail, at least not the first time. It wasn't really a reason the second time, but it contributed in the second time. But Hot Spring, it just be careful because I had money, a lot of money the first time, and I just blew money left and right. I wouldn't recommend doing that, especially if you're on a budget. So, with all that being said, I think I can sit here and say I think 2018 will be my year. But I think it will be because I'm learning. I've learned a lot, and I commend everybody that made it. And by the way, Iceberg made it. Congratulations, Iceberg. I commend everybody that took the journey and made it. And it was an amazing trip. An amazing trip. It's a trip of a lifetime. And you don't have to hike the whole 2,200 miles for it to be a trip of a lifetime. And 2017 on my Appalachian Trail hike was exactly that. It was a trip of a lifetime. I met people that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I appreciate it. I'm JB Gunner. I'm Teardrop. And that's kind of my review of my 2017 Appalachian Trail hike. I know it's long. I'm not even going to do much editing. I was going to do the pictures and this and that, but I got a lot of work to do today, and I got to get this video out to you later on. Peace out.
Bye, bitches.